Hello, Host Sutra Souls. Today we will chant the second sutra of the first chapter of the Samadi Pada. And I'll chant it through and then break it down for you. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. I'll break it down. Yogas chitta. Yogas chitta. Vritti. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Together. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. You'll see in some of your textbooks is that it means yoga is stilling the mind or quietening the mind. That's quite succinct, but it doesn't really help us to understand what yoga really is. And so it means much more. So with the yoga, as we talked about before, that's that connection, the joining. In many different ways, maybe we're talking about the connection of the self with the, or the soul with the overlay of the soul, that connection to that divinity which has become separated. This is actually just pulling us into our oneness, realizing our oneness. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. To go a little bit deeper into that, the chitta, so that's our personal energy field of consciousness. And that's a bit hard to explain. What is the mind? Stilling the mind. So the chitta is our personal consciousness, where our thoughts come from, our feelings come from, sounds, senses, smells, taste. So there's a lot that we store. It's like a storehouse of all of this. And it can be broken down into, instead of jumbling it together, it can be broken down into the manas, which is the mind that we know of, that gathers the information, everything that we bring in from the outside world, the ahamkara, the ego. And these all interconnect. So the ego, of course, is, as we're very familiar with, is that can get us into trouble, because we always feel with an ego that we're elevated in some way than other people. We want to be able to, maybe for others to see the value by our ego, how much we know, how much we've experienced. And so we use our ego a lot in many ways without even thinking about it. And we even judge and compare other people with the ahamkara, with the ego. And then the buddhi is our conscience. And we understand, we felt the buddhi at times, can see two sides of the coin. So it doesn't judge, it kind of looks at one side and the other side, that deep feeling of rightness. And so this all comes into our chitta, our personal energy field. And then you have the chitta itself, which the chitta is the translation literally is to collect. So it's collecting all of this information that makes us act and react the way we do, which we call our vrittis. So yoga's chitta vrittis, as we talked about before, is these knee-jerk impulses, things that we say without even thinking about it. And that's really what we're trying to do before, as Bhavani, my teacher, says, it's calming the stormy nature of ourselves. That we get the input from our chitta, maybe something we don't like, and before we realize, we pour out our ego, our information, whether or not it's right or wrong, but we want to make sure that we're heard. How do we draw back from this and pause instead of having those knee-jerk reactions? And as I've mentioned before, this is actually a much better copy of, not mine, the Yogi's Roadmap. And so this is what this is. I mean, with Bhavani's book, she explains it so well. This is our spiritual evolution. That's the Samadi. That's this growth in us. But instead of just being the psychology, which we can read about and understand, and this is not just an intellectual book, it's a daily living, it's a discipline. And so it's that tapas that we learn is keep coming back to it. And the beautiful is that they are these beautiful jewels, these nuggets that we try to understand. And so with Bhavani's book, which he says is that intentional resolution of all our self-defeating, self-negating thoughts, patterns, and tendencies in our personal energy field. So this is the process of yoga. This is the process, the spiritual process. Just peeling away the layers, finding out who we truly are. And so it doesn't happen immediately, but it's something that we can practice. And as I think Bhavani's teacher, or one of Bhavani's teacher, the Guru, Batavi Joyce, practice and all is coming. But it's an endless process. Let's chant that again. Together. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Namaste.